We're live, Randy. Welcome
Hey,
to
everybody.
Today, we are going to be joined by Holly Starks. She is just away to fix her camera, and we're going to be talking about knowledge bombs from SEO conferences that we have been to this year so far. And it is also by the news guy, which is that guy right there, Mr. Randy Roday, the news guy, as he has branded himself. And Holly has got a camera working below.
What's up,
Yeah,
man?
Holly is, who the hell knows what Holly is doing over there? You look like you're standing at a urinal taking a pee.
Oh, come on.
My TV. I am taking a pee. I'm removing all the cell phones because I'm working on them at the moment. So it only
got it. Very good.
She's always up to no good.
She is always up to something tricky, something, who knows, some kind of crazy thing going on. I tell you, it's so good to see everybody. My gosh, we haven't gotten rolling for a while. I think everybody has been, either one or two of us have been sick over the last month.
Yeah.
Or traveling, or at
a conference. It's weird because it always happens to me. I do 2 live sessions a week. I do this one and I do the one with Chris on a Wednesday. And lo and behold, anytime I fucking travel, it's during these fucking, during when these sessions are on. Believe it or not, the flights and everything. It's so bizarre.
I know.
So yeah, it's a pain, but we are back, so that's the main thing. What was so were you with Holly at a conference last week, or was
Holly not with Holly? Yeah. So when we were talking about this show, and what to do, today, I had thrown out, they're like, hey, I know several of us have been, or at least Craig and I don't know if Holly has been somewhere, but Craig and I know have been at, some conferences over the last, I got to change my microphone. We've been at conferences over the last, month or so. So I thought, hey, let's drop some knowledge bombs, some little bits and bobs, as Craig likes to say, little from some conferences. So at the very first week of February, I was at Affiliate Summit West out in Las Vegas, which was was pretty great. So I've got a few things I can share from that one. And then just last week, I was I was gone the whole week. I left Monday and came back yesterday afternoon. I was at Rank Masters, which is kind of a mastermind community. And man, that was great. Oh my gosh, that was so good. It was with Patrick Shannon and Chris Moore. And Jeff Howell. So those are the 3 guys behind Rank Masters. I don't know if you know those guys at all, but God, just a great little mastermind.
See when you say mastermind, because I'm not too sure. I think I've met Patrick Shannon before. I'm not too sure if I've met the other guys, but this word mastermind gets flung around a hell of a lot these days. What was it like? Was it private invite only? Was there a whole bunch of people there? Was it a conference that's called a mastermind? Like, explain what the setup like.
I have been at invite only masterminds. This one was so Patrick Shannon, let me tell you, just an incredible guy. He is behind, he has his own agency, has a very specific niche down
agency, SEO agency, digital marketing agency. And he really espouses, the philosophy of you should, if you're going to have an agency, niche down, like only focus on, whether it's, roofers or plumbers or whatever, but just niche down on it, and get really good, become the leader. I mean, there's so many positive things about it. I don't, but that's for another reason. But it makes so much sense. So he has a very niche down specific agency that he has. And then his need, as is what so much arises. He had a need, he saw a need, a void, and he created a software package called Lead Snap. Do you know that package?
I've heard of it, yeah.
Lead Snap. So it is a heat map, GMB management, citation builder, CRM, all in one kind of package. Really is pretty nice. I think we are going to actually deliver our press releases through there. We're going to kind of create a little pathway where folks that are in that Lead Snap can just order press releases directly from us, which will be quite nice. Yeah. But anyway, so that's Patrick. And now he and a couple of other guys then pulled together and decided they really wanted to do this mastermind kind of concept, which really is kind of coaching, right? Coaching people how to scale their agencies, go from, and I think at minimum, you have to be at like 300,000 annual ARR or annual revenue, recurring revenue. I think that's their minimum, but they'll, so their focus is like, hey, we want to get you there to being, and then to multi-million, right? And so, but they did advertise. They were looking for people to come to this thing. And the way that I got hooked onto it was with Terry Samuels, Terry and Elizabeth. Now, Terry had gone to it last year and walked away and just told me, it was like, oh my gosh, this was like the best thing for him and for their agency and some of the stuff that they had drilled down. So it's a real focus. It's not necessarily an SEO agency, but it's really about how do you organize? How do you optimize your organization? How do you scale? How do you manage your staff? What are the systems in place? All of that kind of stuff. Mindset, right? It was so that's kind of this mastermind. We did talk just a little bit about SEO and some backlink building stuff, but it was primarily really around growth, agency growth. Kind of think about it in those terms. And the mastermind then, so like, what did we do? So they did have presenters that kind of talked about, various aspects. They had some big agency folks, that are running $10 million, $50 million agencies, come and present some stuff as well. Had a couple of guys come and present about how do you value, if you want to go put your agency up for sale, how do you value, how do you get a valuation on it? And then how do you go sell it? So two different guys kind of talked around that subject, which was pretty cool. Some real good stuff. Really good stuff. Now you're going to be at SEO Spring Training, and Patrick is going to be there. He's going to be speaking there as well. So be sure you connect with Patrick while you're there.
Yeah, no, I think I've spoke to him in passing a few times, but never sat down and had a full on chat with him. So I'll definitely try and make time to do that. But you know what it's like at these things. You're like, fuck, I'll sit with this, and you never do. You end up getting pulled away to something else, and it's quite hard to work your way around the full setup. So
So how about you? So you've been traveling. Did I answer the question about masterminds? I mean, I've been to other masterminds where it's really like Holly and I have gone to several different masterminds, and I think you've been at a couple of them that we've been at as well that are really like SEO folks, and you come and, and so you'll have everybody that's there is going to come and share something, right, that they're working on or doing, or some new tactic or something. And so that's always kind of fun as well. But the Rank Masters one was just, really about agency growth and development. So
I think that's a good thing. Slightly different angle and all that stuff. So always good to hear people are mixing it up. That's what we want. But talking about mixing it up, Muzzy is here, and that isn't who I was going to talk about mixing up. I've got something to ask Holly. Holly, what the fuck are you up to?
I know, Holly, you put something out there. And I'm like, what?
Not in the background. I keep seeing things in Facebook like, I'm going to fucking rank this within a day or a week, and I'm making the next SEO Neo. Like, what the fuck are you? What the fuck is going on?
Yeah, I know. I'm making an SEO Neo.
Dude, everyone's freaking about this. This Holly's making a Web 2.0 SEO Neo thing. So the thing with that is that if you actually look at, okay, I can't do that from opening phones at the same time. Okay, so the SEO Neo thing is just like very simple, right? So we just took what SEO Neo does, which basically is driving directions, posting on blog comments and Web 2.0s, and like posting keyword rich content, possibly might not be keyword rich, but it's basically posting content with driving directions and embeds. The problem with, I have nothing against SEO Neo. Let me say that first. I love the guys who made it. It's expensive, right? At Black Friday, I think it was $700 to buy it for a year, which is pretty expensive if it's a small business, it's pretty expensive. Even for me, I think it's an expensive thing to use. So we just sort of took apart what it did. And to use the grids. So, right, we have grids. If you don't know what grids are and you just are listening in, go look at like Local Falcon, Local Viking,
Local Dominator.
Local Dominator, that was the one. And you put your business in, it runs a grid so you can see what you're ranking in a 10 by 10, 2-mile radius, whatever it is. But with Neo, to use those grids and to get those pinpoints, you have to use credits with Neo, which is expensive. So instead of using those, sorry, I didn't notice it.
I saw that. I'm like, what is it?
Sorry,
Nathan, that is so funny. You even caught my expression because I was like, what?
I never sit on the side of the. Yeah, okay. Well, that's why. Okay, let's just move on. Okay, so you have to use Neo's pinpoints, and it's expensive because you have to buy credits. So instead of having to do that, and like there's other software that will let you get like the point of interest URLs and the embeds, but in any case, it still becomes expensive. You're using the API. People don't want the API. So we built something that just basically will give you a radius, like whatever, 20 miles, a mile, a 10 by 10 grid, whatever it is, on a monthly basis. And you can just throw those URLs into your current tool that you use, which GSA, Scrapebox, Neo, if you still want to use it. I mean, you pay for it, you might as well use it. So we're not building something that builds WebTip 20s. We built something that will give you the driving directions at a super reduced, like it's so cheap, it's stupid cheap. And that's really all we built, because, and the only reason why I built it is because people were asking how to get the Neo grids, the pinpoint grids, without using the API. And so I was like, I think that we can build it. So yeah, that's what it is. It's I'm sure I confused everybody what it was, but that's what it is. Yeah, everyone is still talking about the picture, so I'll turn around this way. So that's what it is.
I'm just curious. I just seen all this stuff on Facebook, and I'm like, oh man, like shit's going to blow up. I didn't know if there was some fight on behind it or some fucking, I don't know. I was just like, I'm not even going to get involved. I'm not even going to say anything.
Yeah, it's not, you know, I mean, Arlena was in Neo and he's a good friend. So I'm sure it came off as like Holly is going to like try to destroy Neo. It has nothing to do with that. It's an expensive tool. And it gets more expensive if you're using the grids and you want the geopoints. And really all it does is it builds driving directions. For $700 a year, I can get the driving directions URLs way easier and without using the API and without the timestamp. And I can use my current tools that I have, like GSA, Money Robot, Scrapebox, because that's what it's doing. It's going out and posting comments on these pages. We already have the tool to do that. What we don't have is the ability to grab the URLs, or sorry, to grab the driving directions within a radius of that business, because everyone has done it with the API. We don't want it through the API. So we just built just this section of it. Not saying that Neo is bad, because that's totally not what I'm saying. I'm just saying there's cheaper ways to do it.
Well,
And
Neo
also-
does a lot more than
No, it doesn't.
what you're, huh?
No, it doesn't.
Well,
It really-
if you're just talking about the GMB aspect of it, but it does a lot more beyond just working on the GMB.
It builds content. It makes articles. There is other tools that do the same thing that I own. So there's no reason for me to buy Neo, because we have all the other tools, right? So correct. I'm using the GMB section of it for local, or for like, you know, national wise.
Right.
You're still building blog content. At the end of the day, that's what it does.
Well, you're building, yes, you are building content, but you're building it on, it's a link automator. It's just like any, you know, Money Robot, or, you know, the next iteration of SEO Autopilot or Ranker X. So it's, you know, it's creating these multi-tiered diagrams of different properties, whether they're Web 2s or Wiki, or like I just ran a crazy ass diagram of, and it created 500,000 Wiki postings. Oh my gosh. It took it took 3 days to build it out.
That same thing can be built on the other tools that we use. So the thing that the Neo had,
not the
was
tools that I use. I don't have it, but meaning
I mean,
internal tools that you have?
You what? You can do Wiki on Money Robot. You can do Wiki on GSA. You can do Wiki on.
Can you? I don't think you can.
You can.
You can probably, but not like multi-tiered. I got to go pull up my Money Robot.
I mean, you can. You do tiers to tiers. If you set up a tier. I mean,
like doing a full diagram, multi-tiered, interlinked, blah, blah, blah.
Right. Like I'm not at all saying that Neo shouldn't be in your tool. It was not at all like that, right? I think people are taking it as that. I'm taking it as if you're using it specifically for the grids and the driving directions, we have a cheaper alternative for you. That's all it was about.
And also, Holly, what the fuck is that shit you're doing in the background? Anything to update us there?
Oh, on my phones?
Yeah.
So I put out a offer, and the offer was that I will build your we gotta check this out too. I'll build out your a driving direction system for you. So you get to drive the software that we use to control up to 100 phones, and then we send you the software and the phones, and I set it all up for you. So okay, and then I bought this. Hello, Randy and Craig. This is the most awesome mic I've ever had.
It's like a carnival time here. Wow.
Yeah,
Oh,
so
man.
I bought that for doing live streams and yelling at people in my car. So that's what I'm
Now,
doing.
what are you doing with that crazy circus toy?
This one? Okay, so this is stupid. So very, very stupid. I am doing driving gigs to see if we can do our entire monthly income on driving for Walmart Spark deliveries or like DoorDash or Uber Eats as a side gig. So I've been going out like a few nights a week, like 3 hours a night, maybe 2, just depends. And I deliver groceries basically.
You're still doing that?
Yes, I'm still doing it. It's crazy, right? But
and what are you doing with the microphone? Like pulling up to their house? Hey,
okay, so
I'm
the
here.
microphone is because I've been live streaming them. And so people come on, and it's funny because if you get a donation, they get all excited. So I put my Venmo in there, and you get like donations, which is we think is crazy, but like it always helps. There's nothing wrong with doing that. And then I say the person's name on the mic, and they think that it's cool. I don't question it because it's something that I get to do that is not SEO, and then I can get out of the house. I guess.
Getting out is important. But, Holly, question from Nathan Olson. Will your heat map system work with Money Robot?
I mean, it will because you get your heat maps from places like, Local Viking. What's the Dominator one? So you get your grid from,
Local Dominator.
A third party, and then you put on this website that we made it. You put the GMB business name and the address, and you say you want like whatever 20 points, and then you make backlinks to those driving directions. So it works on any system. It is entirely what Neo is doing for GMBs.
And the tools that you all mentioned there, Local Dominator and various other bits, Money Robot and whatnot. Ajit is saying, can you mention all of the tools and the names clearly so that he can get some of them, I'm assuming? Yeah,
so GSA, or otherwise known as Search Engine Ranker, Money Robot, which now has an AI feature in it, Scrapebox, which is just blog comments, Zenoposter, which is a Russian software, but it is phenomenal. And you can also do it with XRunner, to be honest. It's just a link to the driving directions. So you don't have to use the tools that I'm saying. Whatever tools you use to build backlinks, just put a backlink to a driving direction. Hell, you can order Randy's PR releases and have him do a driving direction embed. I'm pretty sure you'll do that, right?
That would be very fun. Sure, I'd do that for you.
Yeah. You can order Fiverr gigs and go and ask to do blog comments and give them the short link to the driving directions. It's just another alternative for people who don't want to spend $700 a year. I don't want to spend $700 a year, so I would spend $700 a year if it did something else than driving directions. But
Right.
it is what it is. Not a cut at all, by the way, to Neo. I'm not slamming Neo, so if I hear anyone say, "Oh, she hates Neo," it's totally not what I'm saying.
MD is saying, what are the top strategies businesses should focus on to dominate the local pack? So I'm assuming, based on what you're saying, Holly, links to the driving directions, embedding
links to the driving directions.
You think that's one of the bigger ones, or are you doing that in conjunction with the usual citations, all of the other bullshit that we've been doing?
Right. I mean, like, you definitely need to do your, you got to do your basic SEO, right? Your on page, your branding, your PR releases. You can't just do driving directions, right? You have to add.
Yeah.
You got to add everything else.
Yeah. A lot of people are just looking for one fix, and you've got to do all of the kind of basics in place as well. And we've seen for years Holly running around with her hundreds of phones, and we all know that driving directions are important and everything else, but you've got to do a bit of everything to make sure that you're dominating the local pack.
Right. Like, so we've been doing driving directions for 30 days for about 40 or 50 customers. And this week is the last week. So we'll kick all the 50 out unless we want to resign, whatever. And the ones that have good SEO and have a good structure, that have citations, that have a good brand, that have good quality links, that have press releases, are doing better with their rankings than the ones that sort of fall on that type of stuff. So if you don't have your structure set up in the beginning, the driving directions are not going to help you.
So true. And that's the thing. I don't know how many times I have conversations with people like, okay, well, is this PR going to take me to the top of, page one or get me on page one? I'm like, no, one PR is not going to do it.
Right.
It is multiple things. APR is a good piece of the strategy, but you got to be doing all kinds of things in today's world, and especially heavy branded stuff. And I don't care whether you're trying to rank a map in the GMB in the 3-pack or whether you're trying to rank your organic page, but you've got to be heavily promoting and building out links out to your brand. I don't know. Yeah. That's my 2 cents. What do you say, Craig? You're just shaking your head. What you being a little squirrel over there? What are you eating? Sunflower seeds?
I need some sugar. Tic Tacs.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, I need sugar in my body, man. I feel a bit shitty. So with the heat.
Where are you now? Anyway, by the way.
I'm in Dubai.
You're in Dubai. Okay.
I'm hanging out here. I'm going to Vietnam next on Sunday for Mads's event. So I could have went home, but there's no point in going home for 5 days to then fly back to Dubai to then go to Vietnam. So chilling, sunbathing, catching up with work and enjoying life.
Right. Holly, you want to answer this question that's out there about generating driving directions?
Yeah. The URL you go to is, let me see, google.com/ is it DIR? Let me see. Just want to give me 1 sec. It's not that. All right, you gotta just give me a minute. It's not that either, but let's try to go up from there. I don't think it's that either. Oh my God, I'm gonna have to look. All right, just give me 1 minute. I have to bring up my file. Oh, here it is. So it's google.com/maps/dir.
Can you get that? Put that in the chat. I don't know how. You might have to send it to Craig in the private chat sometime.
Yeah, let me. That's how you create your driving direction without the API. People are going crazy about this API nonsense. So it's, you don't want to do your driving directions through an API because Google can see what you're doing and then you're tracked. So what? So what that you're tracked? What do you think? Like, I don't know. That's a whole argument for another day. But yeah.
So there's the link there, Rob. Just jot it down. Then I'll remove it. The link's there, Ajit. The link is there. If possible, please share screen. Just grab the link.
Yeah, I mean, you just go to google.com/maps.dir and then put your directions to, and your directions, from Walgreens to the dental office. That's
Easy
it.
peasy.
And then grab the URL and grab the share URL and drive links to it. That's it. Randy, you're mute or something.
Sorry. But what you're doing, you're creating like a mass amount. I don't know how many, like driving directions to like your business or whatever you're trying to.
Yeah, it's not that.
No?
It's not that many. It's like maybe 20 a week, 30 a week. Drive links to that and then pull the next one.
Yeah.
And we're pulling from, do I want to say that?
How do you do it? How are you pulling multiples? So like you're saying like, I want to go create 20. Is there an easy way to go pull and create 20?
Yeah, that's what we created.
Oh, all right. Look at you, all sneaky. Nice.
Like you literally, that's what our Neo killer is.
Yeah.
Is we're just, we just put the map URL there and say how many, your radius out, and then the system goes and grabs them.
Okay.
Knowledge bomb right there. Holly, are you going to spring training?
I'm scheduled to go. Yes. I don't know if I'm going, but that I'm scheduled to go. We'll have to see what happens.
I thought you were speaking.
No, I am. I mean, on the tech day, I'm supposed to. Yeah.
Oh, on the tech day you're speaking.
Randy, there's a question for you here. As a beginner in local SEO, which is you, how do you attract your first paying clients? Sorry, Randy.
This is incredible that you even asked this, because a guy at the conference the mastermind that I just went to at Rank Masters, this is a guy over in the UK, over in Birmingham, actually. He shared kind of his journey. He was with an agency. He was a sales guy, did a lot of stuff. He's a very creative kind of a guy. and he left this agency because he was basically too successful. And so he started his own. And and he was like, listen, I needed to start and start generating money like ASAP. So what he did, and I thought this was, I thought it was brilliant. And I'll try to just give you the condensed version of it, essentially. But he wanted to do something that was like immediate, that he could quickly kind of ramp up and get some paying clients for. So he created kind of like a little I'll call it a gift box, but it was like a little box, like no bigger than a book, so to speak, right? And then in that he put a bunch of different candy bars that are there in the UK, and then he and then with that had a card that he printed up. And then on the card he utilized like all of the candy bars in the statement. And I think I actually even have hold on a second. I wonder if I think I have the card and what it says. See if I could even just read it to you. Come on. Shit. Maybe I don't. But anyway, it was very clever, very creative, and just said, hey, it was like kind of to the point. Hey, I'd like to talk with you if you would like to grow your business or get more business or get more calls and leads. Give me a call. Or he had the QR code on this card. Now on the other side of it had just a picture of him and his little girl, which was great, I thought, because it made it very personal. And then a little bit more information about his agency, put this thing into a box, boxed it all up. And then he sent somebody else out, like a friend of his. And as if, first I'm missing a piece. He also went and scraped like businesses in his town where he is, looked to go find potential businesses, found their name, got their name and address, got the owner's name of the business. And then with all of this information isolated, I think he started out with 25 is what he did. But then he said like, well, I had such a great response. I only did 10. And, he closed a number of the initial 10. But he sent his friend out like as if they were a messenger with a clipboard and everything. And then like walked into the business, said, hey, I'm Randy. I have a delivery for, like Craig Campbell here, a special delivery. Got the person to sign it. So they knew who it was, made it look like they were, like they were from UPS or whatever. And then once it was delivered, the next day, the guy jumped on the phone and just said, hey, I'm, Randy, I was just calling to wanted to talk with Craig and just ensure we see he got the thing package delivered. And then from there just sparked a conversation and booked. The guy ended up booking, of the initial 10, he booked 7, I think it was, sit down meetings with the owners of the business and closed like 5 of them or 6 of them. And like immediately he did all of this within 10 days and like immediately got clients. That was brilliant.
I think it's doing something different, right? Standing out from the crowd.
What was his price point, Randy? Do you know his price point?
And it was very cheap, actually, as well. It was like 150. Now, this was in pounds, as he presented. It was 150 pounds setup fee, but then 57 pounds a month thereafter.
So what did he do? Because that is like.
So $100, we'll say, in the US. And essentially all he was doing was optimizing their GMB. And then, and he was using Lead Snap as his tool, because a lead snap will allow you to do a bunch of essentially manage a GMB and then auto post out onto the GMB as well. So he was just like doing some initial optimization, be sure that the GMB was optimized, and then going out and doing weekly posts on the GMB and building some citations on the GMB from all through within LeadSnap. So he's just had one tool that he was just driving it for. And
do you did you take a picture of what he sent in the box?
That's just what I was looking for on my camera.
If you happen to find it, can you send it to me? Because I'm actually working on a niche that might. I'd have to mail it.
Right. I bet it's probably in my
people are doing.
Yeah. It's probably in our group. I think somebody posted some of the stuff that's in the group chat that we're in. I think this he's a very clever Brit. He's great in copywriting, and so he did a really nice job in the message that he put in there. I gotta see if I can find it. But yeah.
What's this guy's name?
You might know Ryan Davies. Do you know him?
Nah, I don't think so.
Yeah, I think Ryan does marketing.co.uk. But yeah, somebody did post it in the group. So here was his message. Growing a business is no picnic. So that was one of the candy bars. But there's a secret I'll whisper to you. Whisper is another one. If you're the kind of person, kinder, which is some other candy, person you like, more customers. Getting your business found on Google and Facebook by people and then the name of the community would really boost your business. My name's Ryan, and I'll give you a call in the next few days to explain how I can help you. If you can't wait to talk, get your fingers, some other piece of candy, busy on the buttons, some other candy, and call or WhatsApp me now. Enjoy the munchies, which is some other. And then it had his signature and then his WhatsApp and phone number. And he said when he started expanding this and doing this a little bit more, people just like signed up automatically, even without even waiting for him to. It was just brilliant. It was just a
very. If you mail them, did he say that he just ended up mailing them at some point?
Yeah. So then after he had booked his initial, then he went and then did the mailing on the stuff. And then from there, he did some other stuff where he was like targeting. But in 12 months, he went from 0 to 512. Not the bigger numbers were now through the package thing that he was doing. That was just his initial. But the bigger ones, as he like scaled, he was doing it by scraping businesses and then doing cold email with a very simple video and cold email. And he was, he was great. Really was a sharp guy.
That's really smart.
Yeah.
That annoys me that I didn't think about something like that.
Yeah. But I love the idea, especially if you're working local. So whoever asked the question, man, if you're working local and you want to do local business, I mean, it was a brilliant way to go scoop up, a handful of local clients. So, I mean, and you could do that whether you're doing it as GMB or whether you're want to do everything. So just get creative about, what it is that you want to work, what your offer is. But I love the overall kind of strategy to go get the customers. It was like out of the box. It was just a great method.
Yeah, that sounds like it. And if you know all of those chocolate bars, it would make a lot more sense to you, Randy. You're saying all those names, fingers and munchies, and yeah, they're all my favorite sweets. So,
Oh yeah, he brought us a sample box. So
Yeah.
when he was in and he had one there, I could have sworn I took a picture of it, but yeah, it was that was brilliant. It was great. So anyway, so that was a great way to go get a few clients, right? And so when you're starting out, you're like, listen, I need to get like 5 clients like now, so you can just start paying some. Having some cash coming in, and that was just his way to go do it.
Yeah, interesting, and hopefully that answers your question, MD. That was a hell of a long answer, but it is.
I know. I'm
good
sorry.
answer.
That was that was one of my conference gold nuggets, right? That was one of the things I was going to share.
No, I think Eric here is saying cold outreach is still king. Whilst I think it works, I do think how you do it and stand out from that crowd is clearly what that guy Ryan's done, which is fair play. Just that small little thing makes a hell of a difference. It's probably why Holly stands out from the crowd as well.
Yeah.
Holly's got fucking boxes, phones, wires, fucking batteries. Just random shit going on. And again, I think it makes her stand out from the crowd. And
right.
It's that for me is the biggest thing. Is just do
so let me
shit.
share as well one thing from, and I don't know if we got more questions. I haven't been paying attention to about the questions. From the affiliate summit conference that I went to, I don't this was something that was like, wow, that was crazy. I don't run I don't do any like ads. However, I am going to start doing some ads, and anyway, I'm going to get dialed in on this. But one of the big agencies that was at Affiliate Summit, and when I'm saying big agency, I mean they're doing like millions and millions and millions. I don't probably $100 million. I don't know. But they had done some testing that stated like, listen, if you're doing Facebook ads specifically or Meta ads, if you do some social proofing on that ad, right? So like a short testimonial, like Craig said, boom, and here it is, and do that on your ad, that your ads will drop. By doing that, your CPM will drop by over 70%. So your cost per the CPM. I'm like, wow. They had run a bazillion different tests and just showing like, man, if you do some social proofing on your ad, that it just drives the cost down because of the way that Meta's algorithm is helping to promote it. I thought it was, I don't know, Craig, you run some ads time and time again. I don't know if you've experienced or experimented with any of that either, but
yeah, I think a lot of people think, you just throw money at ads and that's it. You have to be strategic about it. Sometimes you have to pay for data and work the system, which again, a lot of people don't think about. So there's a lot more to running ads than meets the eye, rather than you just going in there and flushing, $1,000 at it and hoping for the best. That's, there's algorithms that go on in the background, whether it be Facebook or whatever. And the information, the data, the knowledge, and everything that goes on in the background to make sure that you are landing on your right client is fucking mind blowing. But sometimes that costs money to get that thing moving, and I think some people just don't spend enough time understanding what goes on, how you trigger all of that kind of stuff, and the people that do tests. I'm always interested in hearing what they get from it and all that kind of stuff, because so many people say ads don't do shit or they don't do this, that, and the next thing. And to be honest, quite a lot of it is just because they've not spent enough money to be able to trigger the whole thing to work to their advantage.
Well, Yeah. One of the other cool thing, I was just looking at my notes from that presentation. One of the other things was, and utilizing. So once you get a little visibility and kind of see how people are engaging and where the peaks are, time periods, to be sure to utilize the budget scheduling on Meta's ad management tools, because then you can just, instead of saying, hey, I want to spend $500 for the month of March on your Meta ads, and Meta then is just going to distribute that out. You can use the budget scheduling and say, I want to spend most of my budget in these particular days and or hour timeframes. So to be sure that you're capitalizing where your customers are, and your connect is seeing and are more likely to engage or click on your ad. So that was great, right? Just like dial it down, dial it in.
Dude, I had a pest control guy years ago, and he was always harping on that most, or if not all of his calls came at first thing in the morning, like 7 or 8 a.m. And because obviously if you get pests or mice or whatever in your house,
Right.
you're phoning that motherfucker first thing as soon as you wake up. So there isn't always the benefit to trying to spread that budget out over a whole day when the majority of your people are going to be, morning callers. So that, that was always a perfect example for me, where the guy's like, dude, just have my ad running between like 8 in the morning and 11 o'clock. That's it. I'm not interested in anything else, because the rest of the ads through the day were always just someone who had birds shitting in our grass or some shit like that. It was like a $20 job or whatever. It wasn't the type of work they were looking for. But there we go. And the creative is terrible and not trying out enough variations. Nowadays with AI, it's so easy to push out dozens of ads and variations. Yeah, there's a lot of tools that can do that for you, which is making life a hell of a lot easier. Which is what we all want. But yeah, any other bombs, Randy, from any of these other events?
I will tell you, there's so many such great things. Not necessarily. Let me. You guys talk amongst yourselves. Let me cycle through my notes here that I took. I took this. The Rank Master things was so. I took 30 pages of notes on my super note. I mean, it was that good. I was like a crazy man.
That's never good. I always like 3 or 4 notes anymore, and shit just never gets done.
I will share this, and maybe, and I was taking a lot of notes in regards to Facebook ads specifically, because that was really is the area that I needed to get better at, or to really learn and drill down on. So there was some stuff, and this may not be new to anybody, but I'll share it because it was new to me anyway. In regards to, so on the Facebook ads, you can kind of do, kind of some long text or short text, right? With, on the ads, and then you can kind of mix either images or videos and blah, blah, blah. And one guy that was sharing really is amazing, the results that he's getting off of his ads. He was just like saying, listen, you just really have to understand that if you want more clicks, meaning more engagement and just pulling people in, use short text with an image. That was going to be better. But if you want better quality clicks or lead potential, or just on the initial, use longer text with video. So use the long text with video, short text with image. So depending upon what your objective is. and you'll get much better results, or better results to your objective. So maybe as an example, if I just wanted to like, hey, I just want to do like some brand, I want to get brand impressions and just clicks onto the site, I'm going to use a short text ad with images, and not a video. So I'm like, boom, I just want you to click on it.
Yeah. That's interesting. Interesting that even a guy of your age and experience, Randy, still get 30 pages of notes at these things. And
my age. Yes. Thank you, brother.
The point is, you always be learning. I was talking to a friend today, and we were just talking shit back and forth, and then he was telling me about some of the AI that he'd been messing around with, setting up fake women using AI and talking to dirty old men just for a laugh to see how they would. And I'm like, and I got about 5 notes of different tools to try out. So yeah, interesting times. There's a lot going on in the online space, and even from just that conversation today, I'm sitting like, I've got my phone and I'm just taking the notes. Check this, check that, try this, try that. Not that I fancy talking to dirty old men pretending to be a woman, of course, but
oh, sure.
But nah, it's always eyes wide open at the moment. So it's interesting times, that's for sure.
Yes. So good stuff. I tell you, I'm looking forward. So I really am not going to be going to any other my next events not until May. So I'm going to SEO spring training. So that's just my next step, I guess. So 2 months from now.
Nice. Time to rest up and get your head around the 30 notes, the 30 pages of notes. Figure that shit out. Yeah. That's the problem. Right? You go to too many and you get too many notes and you never do anything with it. So you do need time to do what Holly does and just blow shit up.
Yeah.
And take action. So that's the important part. But anything else to share, Holly, before we wrap up? Anything else you're doing that we've not asked about?
I mean, I'm always doing stuff that I don't talk about, I mean, I could go all day telling you the stupid ass projects that I have going on right now, but yeah.
Someone, I can't remember who it is. Someone keeps asking me about you, Holly, and I can't remember who the fuck it is, but they keep referring to you as that dodgy woman that's friends with me. They keep saying, I can't remember who the fuck it is. They're just like, Craig, who's that fucking dodgy woman that you know that does all that crazy shit? And I'm like, what dodgy woman and what crazy shit? And they're like, fucking her from America. And I'm like, Holly? And they're like, yeah, that's her.
I love that. That Dolly woman, dodgy woman.
I have to tell you this. So I was in a live stream this weekend, and this guy does door dashing for hours a day. And it's hilarious to watch him. So that's why when I'm working, I like to put something on that sort of just is background noise. I never work in silence. So I have him on. I watch him all day long. And I also watch storm chasers driving through snow because it's just something I love to do. It's weird. It's fine. I don't care. But in his Discord group and on his stream, there's a guy just randomly, we were just talking about what we do and stuff like this. And I said that I was into marketing and I drive around with cell phones. This guy, he goes, "Are you Holly?" I was like, "Well, that's my name." Yes. And he goes, "Are you the crazy Holly Starks who drives around with phones?" I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "I do security networking for this big firm and blah, blah. And we know who you are." I was like, "Oh, that's cool." And he's like, "We've heard really good things about you." I'm like, "Okay, well, at least I'm not a dodgy person, But it's funny because everyone knows me as this dodgy person. I'm not really dodgy. I mean, for the most part, we'll say that I'm not. You know, I just do weird things.
Yeah, weird.
I have
But
weird paintings
dude,
that
Holly, some
Randy
people,
apparently wants me to send one to him.
Now, what's that?
My painting on my wall. Do you want
Oh,
one?
that's yours? Did you paint that?
I did not paint that, but I was in Chiang Mai at the first conference, and I happened to be on the nude floor, which is funny because it's nude pictures floor in this art hotel, which I didn't know. And every picture in the rooms were nude. And so I sent my friend a picture of it, and he painted it for me.
Ah.
You know him, Lonnie.
Oh, Lonnie painted it for you? Yeah,
Yeah.
I've seen some of his work that he's put up on Facebook. It's good. He's quite good.
Yeah. I'll ask him to paint you one.
Nice.
Randy's always getting a freebie.
I'm not sure how Miss Kathy would enjoy the nude photo, but
I'll have him paint one of you.
nude?
Like,
Hey.
Nude, like that.
God.
You got to get a big canvas for that.
Oh, man.
You better cut this part off at the end of the stream.
Yeah. I was going to say, on that note,
I think that went right over Craig. That didn't even, I don't think he really quite got
Craig
it.
just needs a little canvas.
Yes.
I'm saying nothing. On that note, guys, do check out the link below for Randy the News Guy. And if you've got any comments, please leave them in the chat below. And I will aim to get back to them if you have got any. But if not, we're back at the same time next week.
Yep.
Hey,